Hey, 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 what is going on? What's good? What's happening? Hey, you know what time it is. You know where you is. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It is that time once again for the I Am the Possible podcast experience. Yes, the place where possibilities become perspective. Guys, thank you so much once again for rocking with me here in the I Am the Possible universe. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being who and for being what you are. Guys, season 6, I'm so excited about the individuals that I get to introduce you to in this new season. But I first want to thank you guys. Thank you most importantly because you are the reason I do what I do. You guys are why I get up. You are the reason why I go hard. You are the reason why I continue to pursue bringing in individuals that can provide value through their expertise, through their experiences, through their stories, and just individuals, man, who love to love on people. And this week is no different. This individual, I just cannot wait to share with you because she was someone who showed me, and I may title this at the time that I'm recording this. I haven't quite come up with my official title for this episode, but I'm thinking along the lines of how to believe and achieve, how to believe for and achieve more. I'm just kind of playing with some of those words, but I can guarantee you this. She will show you, she is being an example in the world of one who has mastered the art of belief and has mastered the art of achievement. Believing and achieving, to me, are the hallmarks of the individual that I want to introduce you to. I've got the bio right here in front of me, and please forgive me if I mispronounce some of these words, because she's phenomenal. She's doing big things, and some of these places and some of these alliances and whatnot, I've just, I just haven't said, or I haven't come to know, personally. So I'm going to try to get through this bio as best I can to make sure that I honor her. But she is so phenomenal. She is such a powerhouse. She is someone who just exemplifies faith, someone who exemplifies self-belief and self-trust, and a trust in the universe, a trust in God, a trust in life, right? Sometimes we don't trust life. We don't trust the process, as we say. Sometimes we don't trust that things are going to work out for our good. But I can promise you, if you're looking for an elevation in your faith, in your trust of yourself, in a trust in that things are going to work out to your good, if you're looking for that boost, that motivation where someone can, share something with you, and you're like in a space where you're ready to receive something from someone that is going to boost and to elevate your personal belief and faith in what God has for you and what you are able to do, then listen, buckle up, man, because truly she is exemplifying the possible. Okay, she aligns well with this platform. She is being her possible for sure, and I just cannot wait to introduce her to you. So let's get right to it. She is Deborah D. Ford, MABA. She is originally from Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to my New York listeners. She is a Ph.D. candidate in general psychology at Capella University. Shout out to Capella. She is a alumna of Clark Atlanta University, Mass Media Arts, and New York University Speech and Interpersonal Communication. All right. I'm sorry, right? Because I'm all about that intra. I'm sorry, it's interpersonal communication. Deborah D. Ford has taught in higher education for the past 24 years. She is a full-time associate professor of communication in social and behavioral sciences at a college in Florida. She is a member of the NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Health, Hillsborough County, and a volunteer legal domestic violence advocate in Florida. And I'm not done yet. She is an active member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Inc. and mentors at a local elementary school, if she hasn't already done enough, right? I'm telling you, she's a trailblazer, man. She's a fireball. Deborah D. Ford is also a chapter author of Put Some Respect, RESPECK, Put Some Respect on My Name, and also in a book called Black Faculty Do It All, A Moment in the Life of a Black Academic, or of a Black academic. Yeah, in the life of a Black academic. Had to get that word right. And that's through Information Age Publishing. Last, she is also working on several other book projects. Guys, before I introduce you to Deborah, before I bring her to the stage, I want to make sure that I also mention that at the end of this episode, sort of special, I've never done this before, but she's provided me with a survey feedback card. It has a CRQ code on it. So at the end of this episode, okay, don't shut it off. At the end of the episode, there's going to be a screen where you can use your phone if you're watching on the tube, and you should be watching on the tube. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, go over to the tube, type in iAMthepossible. Okay, you can find the podcast there. And at the end of this episode, she wants to hear back from you. She wants that feedback. So if you would just take a few moments, click that CRQ code and provide feedback on our episode, on what she shares, feedback for her, feedback for who she's being, how she's showing up in the world, any aha moments, anything that you took away, any insights, whatever it is, the good, bad, the ugly. Someone like Deborah, she will learn and she will extract lessons from anything. So please, if you would just do us that favor and bless us in that way, at the end of this episode, please use that CRQ code and click that little image and provide some feedback via her survey. So I'm excited about that. I'm a use it myself because I've never seen these little cards before. So it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna try it out myself, and I'm gonna provide her some feedback myself. So hope and pray that you guys would do that as well. All right. As always, I record the intro separately so that I can do our guests justice by giving them love and just loving on them, and then we're gonna slide right into our invitation, right into our conversation, and hope and pray that you guys would enjoy this. All right. So with no further ado, let's get into my conversation with Deborah D. Ford. God bless you guys. Once again, Deborah, thank you so much for being a part of this moment. Thank you so much for just being who you are and what you are in this world. I'm excited about today's episode. I'm excited about sharing you with the world. And just to kind of kick us off and get us going, can you just share with us who you are, where you're from, and just what are you up to in the world? And then we'll springboard from there. But just give us a little bit of an introduction about you, who you are, where you're from, and what are you up to currently in the world?
Yes, good morning. Fabulous Friday to you.
Yes.
My name is Deborah D. Ford, and I always add the marker of ABD, which is all but dissertation, because I'm in the process of doing something phenomenal. I am originally from Brooklyn, New York. That is the only place that I actually claim. I live in Florida now, but clearly I'm not claiming this place. I am a Ph.D. candidate at Capella University. I'm an alumnus of Clark Atlanta University undergrad, New York University grad. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a published author. I'm a recent YouTuber. I am becoming all of the things that I said that I wanted to become years ago. I'm seeing it come to fruition. So I'm excited about that. There's nothing better than seeing something that you have planted sprout.
Yep.
There's nothing better than witnessing the harvest of what you have sown. I'm in that season right now. But I have to backtrack because this season wouldn't be as sweet. You asked me previously, why is this moment so significant? Now, for any person, this would be significant because you're reaching a major milestone. But for me, I cannot revel in this moment and express the full joy without giving you the backstory. Here's a backstory.
Please. Yes.
Whoa, backstory. In 2014, I packed up my home, my townhome, with my children, and I said, we've got to move back closer to Brooklyn because my father had advanced Alzheimer's, a degenerative disease, and he's going downhill. I just need to be within a 7-hour driving distance so I can get there every weekend because I saw the decline. And nothing was happening. I spent hours looking for jobs. I didn't care what kind of job it was. I would have worked at concierge. I almost would have worked at fast food. Mind you, I got advanced degrees, but I don't care. This is not, this prayer to find this employment and to move was not for me. It was for my father. So it was an unselfish prayer. I want to be closer so I can benefit. I want to be closer so I can see him. I'm a daddy's girl. I'm an unapologetic daddy's girl, by the way. So 2014, in July, packed up everything, put it in storage. I stayed with a friend and I was counting down. I was like, okay, God, I don't know where I'm going, but I believe that the Red Sea is going to be parted. So, I mean, I walked to the Red Sea. What do I, what? The Red Sea did not part. School starts here in August, meaning now I have to make a decision. I don't have the job that I thought I was going to get. Again, I'm not praying for me. I'm asking on behalf, so I can be the honorable daughter to my father, right?
Right.
Now I have to make a hard choice. Okay, now I got to find a new place to live because I'm still here and my children have to be in school and they have to get on somebody's bus route so they can be in school. Devastating. Emotionally devastating. The only solace that I had is that a year prior, someone said to me, what if you move, your children are put a grade behind? Because I told my children, quite honestly, I said, you are Florida smart, but when we go back to, New York, you will be put behind. That's just the reality of the situation. What if you go back and your father still passes? That was the only thing that gave me solace. Fast forward, my father did transition in 2016, which took me into an abyss of depression. I can't even describe how I was operating. It was sort of in a catatonic state. I felt horrible. And at that point, I remember I told the doctor, I need an antidepressant. This is weighty. I felt guilt. I felt anger. I felt frustration. I was even angry at God. I tried. Why didn't you make this happen? Like my kids would have been all right. I prepped them for it. Everybody, we would have made this. Why did this not happen? Okay. So I'm taking an antidepressant for a while. I gradually titrate off. And I had to just sit in where I was. And mind you,
Right.
I'm also disgusted by my place of employment, my career, my discipline rather, right? So
Right.
yes, compounded, it exacerbates my disgust. Okay, all right. Oh God, help me to be content in this state, because I tried. Everything that I could physically do, I tried, right?
Right.
Now I
Right.
gotta backtrack again. Okay, so I told you my age. I'm 54 years old. So I must have asked foolishly about 3 decades ago for God to give me patience. Why did I do that? Oh boy, you don't ask for something and expect for it to magically unfold. Because if you ask for patience, you're going to be made to wait.
Yeah.
And how do you handle the waiting room? Okay. Before the show started, I was in a waiting. How do you handle the waiting room? Is he going to come on? Is he coming back to me? I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. I was trying to do a mic check, trying to do a visual check.
Wow.
I know nothing. I have no control in the waiting room. For me, it felt like purgatory. And I'm not even Catholic, but that's what it felt like. You can't get to hell. not qualified for heaven. You're just stuck. That's how
Right.
I felt in that space. So here we go. I'm trying to console myself. 2018, my children are 19 months apart, but my daughter took advanced classes, so they're graduating high school together. The only solace that I had was that my daughter would be able to go to my institution for free. Both of my children would be able to go to my institution for free. That was the only solace. Okay, let me make the most of it. So my joke would be, yeah, I'm on parole, but my sentence is about to end as soon as they graduate. That was my joke to anybody who asked me, because they knew I couldn't stand being where I was. They knew that I had plans previously that fell through. They knew that I didn't want to be at this institution any longer, and not just the institution, just in Florida in general, right? I'm waiting. I'm up for parole. I'm waiting. Don't involve me in anything. I have tunnel vision at this moment. I just want to do my time and be done. And so my daughter did get her associate's degree through my institution. Okay, so this has some purpose. Okay, so I realized in 2019, as she started the program, okay, here's the milestone birthday. Some birthdays have significance. So sometimes people look at it on a decade basis and they determine, I want to be more than I was the previous decade. Well, this is a milestone birthday. And we don't say it's your midlife anymore, because most people are not living to 100, but it's still the milestone birthday. Okay. What are you going to be when you grow up?
Yes.
Turning 50. So this is sort of an internal conversation I had, probably at 49 and a half, 48 and a half. That half is important now. 48 and a half. What do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, this is what I plan on doing. Okay, another year. 49 and a half. What do you want to be when you grow up? Certainly not this. I'm sick of my discipline. I'm going to enter blah, 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 blah. And I had spoke it into fruition. And then 50 came in February. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, I missed the deadline to start. And I had a bit of a panic, like, I've got to move forward. Called the institution. Okay, you're in. And I started in April. So at the age of 50, I started a Ph.D. program. Now, to give you some more background, I had been accepted to Ph.D. programs thrice, not once, not twice, but thrice. The first time I had been accepted, my children were younger. I was in I want to say my later 30s, and it was mission impossible. There was no way that I could leave my campus, go to another part, the southern part of the county, to get to a class that was 3 hours long. And I was children, can't do it. Okay, let's let some more years come. Let me look at an online program, because clearly I cannot do this brick and mortar right now. I looked at Capella University. I talked myself out of it. I cannot balance my work. I am a professor. I've got students. I can't be an adult learner trying to navigate this and motherhood. Cross that one off the list. A third time, I've been accepted, Capella University. They even gave me a trial course to enter, a trial course to see if I could understand how it operates. With the trial course, I had to submit something on a Friday. Well, I hadn't even looked at it yet. Submit something on a Friday. I had yet to figure out how to do this. That was thrice. Fourth time was a charm, because with the fourth time, I was so disgusted. Now let me give you something else that came to me. I saw this in 2014, which happened to be the year that I packed up everything. Ruby D, I'm paraphrasing. God make me so uncomfortable that I do the very thing that I fear, right? So when I packed up my home, I was doing it for me to be closer to my father. That didn't happen. But then this came back to me. God, make me so uncomfortable that I do the thing that I fear.
Mm.
I was fearful of not being successful in this endeavor because my responsibilities had not changed. What has changed in my circumstances going to allow me to be successful as a professor, as an adult learner, as a single parent? Give me the discomfort, the dis-ease, the dissatisfaction that overweighs all of my doubt, that overrides all of my insecurity, that shatters the negative self-talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
50 now. Do I know what I'm doing? Nope, I sure don't. But I'm doing it anyway, because at this point, I don't have anything to lose except the fact that I want to get the hell out of here. I've been to myself. I spoke it into existence. So let it be written. So let it be done. That is what happened when I turned 50. Now, the things that have been occurring in between have they've been mind-blowing. That's really the only way to describe it. So what I'm mindful of is that I have to be very intentional about what I speak into existence and very cautious of what I speak into existence, because that thing that I ruminate on is what I will become the master of. And so I started saying, and mind you, I have also learned that I can benefit from experiences of people who are 15, 20, 25 years younger than me. I didn't initially think that. It's like it's a generational thing. It's like, oh, millennials.
Right.
And what is that next generation that comes after them? Oh, the Z's. The who? What?
Oh yeah, Gen Z, Gen X.
Yeah. Well, I'm Gen X. The the boomers are right before me, and then I'm Gen X, and then the millennials and something else, whoever they are.
And then Gen Z,
Yeah. Well, there are things. There's something that I learned, and this is an area of humility and enlightening, and it was awe-inspiring. I'm watching this TED Talk. And I don't know how I found this young woman, but I'm watching this TED Talk, maybe on LinkedIn. Watch this TED Talk. It was a very interesting TED Talk. And it was one that prompted internal, I guess, debate within me. So the person was suggesting that you should not bring your authentic self to the workplace because of the fact that it's not received. And I remember having this internal debate with her, thinking, no, you hired me as X, Y, Z, A, B, C. You don't get to hire me and then tell me now change. I'm perfect on paper, right? So I'm having this internal debate with her. And I noticed that she had some kind of forum on another platform to have a discussion about her TED Talk. And it seemed like every 2 weeks she was promoting the same video. Now, fast forward in time. So let's say she did this TED Talk during COVID, during 2021, early 2021, end of 2021, she's still promoting that video. 2022, she's still promoting that video. I said, oh my goodness, marketing. It was this wonderful idea that I could have never thought of on my own, because now here's the generational component. As far as I'm concerned, millennials are always on media. They always got to be seen. Now, for me, it was not something that I would initially understand. Like, you let people come to you and give you accolades. You don't big up yourself, right? this girl, every 2 weeks, and it's the same video. And I remember describing this to people, women my generation. I said, it's like she took a picture of a sandwich. She went on social media and said, this is a bomb sandwich. And then 2 weeks later, it's the same sandwich, delicious sandwich, just a different pose. Then 2 weeks later, same sandwich, oh, this sandwich will give your taste buds sensations they never felt. 2 weeks later, same sandwich. I was like, oh my gosh, you have to see her. In that moment, I kid you not, I learned so much from her. And so what I learned is that it's about marketing and persistence. If you don't toot your own horn, who will? Oh my goodness, what a revelation. What a revelation. Because again, and I had this conversation with my cousin, and she said, we were taught to be humble. You let somebody else give you praise. You allow someone else to shower you with accolades. You don't become boisterous and loud, and effusive about your accomplishments. Somebody else needs to acknowledge it. Looked at the next generation and said, let me tell you how great I am.
Yes.
I haven't done anything new, but this thing right here, this was everything. This is it. Did you miss it? You might want to go back and see it. It's the same sandwich. I didn't put any more lettuce, no more tomato on it. It's the same sandwich. It's just a different lens that I took a picture of. And I'm going to remind you how good the sandwich is. You need to get this sandwich. You need to get with this. That's the whole thing that came to my mind. Let me tell you why I needed that. I needed that.
Yes,
I
please
needed that because, number one, there are some things that I'm working on where I have to use social media. And I can't get upset because the first, the second, or the fourth posting doesn't get the type of response, the kind of traction. Let me even put it more specific to me as a Ph.D. candidate. I'm working on my dissertation. And when you are using qualitative research, you have to have human participants. That means you got to find people who are willing to participate in your study.
Okay.
Which means you've got to reach out. I have been approved for what's called snowballing recruitment, where I can put it out and people can share for me, which means I've got to be okay going back multiple times with the same study to the same people. Hey, wait a minute, you didn't respond the first time. Let me see if I can get you. It's the same study. And I cannot think of myself as pestering anyone or overkill. There's no such thing. I'm reminded of that girl. I'm calling her a girl, not out of disrespect, but she's at least 15 years my junior. I'm reminded of that girl. Same sandwich. Send it out. Send it out. Send it out again. Send it out again. Hey, you may have missed it. Let me send it out again. Let me send this out again. Oh, what a revelation. That was priceless. That was absolutely priceless. Now, let me tell you something else that was priceless. Okay. So, again, somebody younger. Now, this person, this is the son of a cousin. His mother and I are 2 years apart. I'm 2 years younger. So clearly I'm old enough to be his mother.
Right.
My cousin graduated with his Ph.D. In clinical counseling, I believe in 2020. And I saw him on LinkedIn and I congratulated him. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. Because his defense was done via Zoom. His mother was in the audience. She was in tears. It was wonderful. I'm excited for him because now I'm in a program. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is fabulous. His grandmother was a teacher. Wonderful moment. And then after I asked him about his dissertation, I said, oh, this is incredible. This aligns with what I initially thought I was going to write about. Did you use such and such? And we're having this little back and forth. And then he sent me one of his papers. And he actually was a published author before he defended his dissertation. I said, David, I'm going to call his name, Dr. David Stanley. I'm going to call his name.
All
David,
right.
how did you become published before you defended? He indicated that he let his professor know that he wanted to write. And his professor was a Puerto Rican man who believed in Black and brown men reaching their personal zenith. This is what you want to do, brother. Let me help you. I said, oh my goodness, I want to do that. Spoke it into existence. I want to do that. Now, Didn't know how it was going to come about, but it's like I've got some time. But I want to do that. I want to write, be published before I defend. An opportunity came about last year. Now, I don't believe this was a new opportunity. I just believe it was the first time that I saw it, because in that moment, I was ready to add an additional layer to my plate. Mind you, I had found the balance between being a student and being a professor. I found it. It was a challenging balance to maintain, but thank God I have a 3.846 GPA. So I found. Does it sound like I found a balance? All right.
Got
Yes,
that
it
balance.
does. So now, let me put something else on my plate, because I spoke into existence what I wanted to do. I responded to a book proposal on Facebook. A young brother writing a book. Okay, yeah, I can add to that background without. I'm a chapter author in this here book right here. Let me tell you the title: Black Faculty Do It All, A Moment in the Life of a Black Academic. And the name of my chapter is called Put Some Respect on My Name. RESPECK, the way Birdman said it. That was the start of it. That was
I love it.
That was the start of it, right? So then within the same year, which occurred actually before this came out. So I wrote this, and then I wrote my chapter for it, and then he put out another pitch. Does anybody have any ideas for a book? And I remember working on something in a qualitative analysis class, and I thought, wait a minute, I don't want to let that research go to waste. That was good.
Yes.
That has some merit. That has some teeth. Let me pitch it. I pitched it. I got approval. I've got writers I've got submissions that I'm going to be editing right now. I spoke that into existence, right? Yeah. At the same time, and I don't even know how this came about. I connected with someone, a sorority sister online, and she's writing for a publication that aligns with my dissertation. I said, oh, I have to hop on that. That will be also.
Yes.
Do you understand? That the name of your show is the iAMthepossible. That will be also, right? So I'm excited for all these things that I'm seeing. I'm the manifestation. Here's the first one. The first one is this chapter book. That I'm in this. That's the first one. And then also at the end of last year, I said I want to do more public speaking.
Yeah.
And then somehow I saw information about Black Speakers Network. Now I know it's not new, but this is the first time I saw it. Or maybe this is the first time I saw it and paid attention to it. Maybe at this moment I was ready for it. I don't know. But all I know is that I saw it. I said, okay, there's a fee to it, attached to it. All right. I can't do the lump sum, but I can do the monthly amount. And I missed the Black History series. And I was like, man, so I'm not benefiting from this. Okay, just hold on. There's more coming. Now, mind you, you don't know. You're spending your money already, but you're not fully getting anything out of it, because I'm seeing the speaker opportunities come up. I'm like, what industry is this? Carpenter Mills Association? These obscure associations that I cannot partake in, right? So I'm like, I'm kind of not getting my money's worth. And then it became Women's History Month, which was right after Black History Month. I said, oh yeah, I have something to say. And I almost missed that deadline, because now I've got something else on my plate. And I sometimes I think I may have put too much on the plate and the deadlines hit me. And so that's what occurred. But I said, you know what? I've got nothing to lose. So I want to say it was probably about 11 p.m. of the night that it was due. I said, oh man, I got to get it done. I put in the pitch. I got to get it done. 1, 2 takes. Here we go. And I uploaded it to YouTube, and I reached out. I said, "This is what I did." He's like, "No, we can't do it through YouTube. We can't accept it that way."
Okay.
Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. And I have to re-record in another format so that it will be acceptable by the platform. So now it's gone past the time frame. However, they had not retrieved the content. So I got in by the skin of my chinny chin chin. And, and then that was the first posting. Then the next series was attached to mental health awareness. And absolutely, I jumped on that. And so I started to realize this has some value to me that I can immediately see. And from there, I'm connecting with other speakers. And so it's just been happening, with rapid speed succession. And I am amazed by it. And I am blessed by it because remember, I was in that waiting room. I was in that holding pattern where nothing was occurring. Nothing was happening. There were no job responses. There was nothing that was giving me personal gratification. The only thing really, was being an active member of my sorority. I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And so being active in that was really the only thing that gave me a sense of purpose. I am very driven. I get that from my mother's maternal side of the family. And maybe even some in the paternal side of the family, but I'm mindful of where it comes. It kind of skips generations or individuals, but I am very mindful of it. So I'm a very driven individual, and stagnation is not acceptable to me. There's no such thing for me as simply being someone who is plateaued. I want to, and even if Abraham Maslow hadn't come up with this hierarchy of needs, I would still want to be self-actualized, right?
Right. Yes, right.
Where you do not plateau, you are constantly looking for the next challenge that is going to produce growth in you. So I spoke with someone the other day. She prayed to God for strength. Ooh, you better be careful with those prayers that you ask for. You're about to be on up. You want strength? Oh, you about to be torn up so that you can be built. I wanted patience. Well, how do you think you're gonna learn patience if I don't make you wait, my child? Oh, these prayers that we're praying, right? So there's always got to be, for me, in pursuit of excellence, in pursuit of the next challenge. And the benefit in this is not just for me what I can now write down, what I can now include to my curriculum vitae. That indeed is wonderful. But it is also a reminder that I was being held for a reason. Because while I was in the waiting room, clearly I don't see any value in the waiting room. I described it as purgatory. But there was something to be gained from being in that space. All right, so I was held, it was uncomfortable. Did you get your daughter her associate's degree? Because college is expensive. Now, she started in my institution, but she's a bison. She transferred to Howard University. And so at the time, she resented me making her start at my school. I didn't want to go there. Blah, blah, you made me. By the time she graduated, I believe she has an understanding of how expenses work and how tuition works. And do you know how much Howard charges per year? Okay, so you started at this institution for free through me, right? You transferred to Howard, and you only have 2 years in terms of financial aid that you have to contend with. Thank you, Mom. You'll thank me later in life. You will. You may not be thanking me right now, but you will be thanking me later. It had a purpose. It had a purpose. Now, here's the next purpose. Here's the next purpose. So, we're July. Earlier this year, or probably late last year, I was having a conversation with a colleague.
Mm.
And this colleague knows that I've been trying to get the hell out of this place for a long time. And I told him about my prayer. Please, God, don't let me be here on the 20-year mark. Please don't. Right? This has been a fervent prayer. Like before 20 years comes, please get me out of this place. This is too much. I'm working on this Ph.D. I'm preparing myself to move forward. Please show and prove. Get me out of here before the 20-year mark. Because that felt like a punishment, and it just felt like a defeating acknowledgement, right? Like I'm still here 20 years. Okay. On the phone with the colleague, and he said the word vested. The light bulb. Wait a minute. Early retirement. I had been praying for the wrong thing. If God had answered my prayer, remember I said, this is what I asked for. If God had answered my prayer, early pension out the window. You stupid, foolish child. I'm not going to give you what you want because you don't know what you're asking. Until that moment, the connection between the 20-year marker and what is due to me did not resonate until he used that very specific term, vested. It did not register. It was like, oh God, I started praying a new prayer.
Yeah.
Let me tell you my new prayer. My new prayer was, Heavenly Father, sweet Black Jesus, I thank you for what you've gotten me through. And then I would count off all the basic and the magnanimous things, right? And then I'd say, thank you for what you're doing right now that I don't even know about. Because remember, I've been asking to get out of this place.
Yes.
It felt like purgatory. Ooh, thank you for the things that you're working on behind the scenes that I have no knowledge of. Thank you.
Wow. Yes.
That is, ooh. And thank you for what you're going to do in the future. And I start counting off what I need in the future. But this middle marker, the things that I don't know about, that I don't need to know about, here's where the patience comes in that I asked for about 3 decades ago. For the things that I am unaware of. And I have to include the things that are frustrating, the things that are uncomfortable, the things that are unpleasant, because I know in the end they will have a purpose. So I'm not saying I'm liking all the stuff that's going on. Am I liking the fact that none of it.
Right.
However, there's a reason for it. And I don't understand the reason. I don't recognize the reason right now. But it will be revealed to me shortly.
Yes.
It will be revealed to me shortly. And so here it is all coming together. August of 2003 is when I moved to Florida. August, I don't even know the exact date. I'm just going to say August 16th. It will be 20 years. And at that 20-year marker, I invested and I qualify for early retirement. Do you know what that means? I can leave with a safety net.
Yeah.
I can work at Walmart and be greeted if I so decide.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? I can spend my time full time becoming the entrepreneur as I'm seeing all these other individuals do, because I have a safety net. Safety net. I can walk the tightrope because there's a safety net. I can do this. Yes. I can accept something as an adjunct. I don't need to be full time because I have the safety net. I can go back and work on getting my master's in social work.
Yes.
Because I have a safety net. I will work on becoming the licensed clinical social worker because I do intend to help the Black community. I believe that every person should be able to afford therapy. Now, mind you, I could be a counselor. I couldn't call myself a therapist, but I could be a counselor, a consultant, a coach, clearly with the credentials. However, my intention is not to simply have high-priced clients, rich clients. My purpose is to help us.
Yeah.
So I've got to have the licensure to be able to accept insurance because I want all of us to be well.
Yeah.
Because we need help.
That's right.
So my intention, and now I'm seeing this happen. I'm seeing all of it come to fruition. But my intention is to be able to do this. So somebody's son or daughter, they need some help. And let me give you another piece of information. I am a mental health advocate because I have young adult children with co-occurring mental health diagnoses. And so I understand what it is like as a parent to raise such individuals. So I want to be that person. Well, what you don't understand, there's oftentimes a disconnect in what your challenge is and what you are being treated for. I mean, there's a thing that is referred as textbook knowledge, and then there's experience.
That's right.
I have the experience and I will get the textbook knowledge, okay? But nothing is going to override the experience.
No.
So I will be able to sit in that particular space. I'm also a domestic violence legal advocate. And so I plan on working as a coach in that space. Like there's so many things that I have anticipatory thoughts of. And they come to me in stages on how they can be developed. And they come to me and they remind me, number one, that it can be done. And then look at your neighbor and ask. They're doing it. Don't be afraid to ask. That's another thing. The humbling. Okay, how do you do this? And how do you get paid sponsors? You do what? Tell me. Tell me. Me asking you does not in any way diminish my capabilities and my gifts and skills. You just have a new layer of expertise that I'm trying to get. And you have it.
Right.
And so I can also have it. You are doing it, and so I can also do it. If somebody were to ask me how I became the published whatever, I tell them the same thing. And I'd start back with my younger cousin, Dr. David Stanley. This is what he did. And if someone were to ask me, how did I understand how to do so forth and so on, I'd even mention that girl. I'm gonna look her name up because I'm giving her, some accolades here. What I learned from her. You have to be consistent in the marketing and keeping something relevant, even if it's 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, 18 months old. That can be part of your fallback. And so learning that matter of fact, I think when we're done, I'm gonna send her just a quick little thank you, tell her what I learned from her. Because I think that's also important. When you're doing something, when you're in a space, a public space, you don't know how an individual is going to receive your presence or what they will receive from your presence. Now, this will probably be an interesting note that she's getting from me, but it will end with me saying thank you because I did indeed learn from the experience. So I'm feeling really good in this space. I'm feeling good knowing that so many possibilities are there. I am the possible. So many possibilities are there. Even more than I can see at the moment, and even more than I'm working on in the moment. The possibilities, there's just no limits, no limits. And my mind is a limitation if I allow it to be, right? And so once I got over the hurdle, one thing about youth is such a wonderful place to be in because you are unencumbered by fear, right? You don't really think that you can't do it. You think that you can do it all. For those who are inclined, right? Of course I can do it. You don't need to ask me all the hows and whys because I haven't thought about all the details, but I said I'm gonna do it, right? And then as you get older, sometimes life starts to place these hurdles in front of you where you do have a reasonable question as to how something is going to be done. It's reasonable. It was reasonable for me to ask, how do I balance this? I can't negate my responsibilities in my profession. This is my paycheck. Okay. I figured that out. Brave, mind, you got this. Once that was established, it's like there's no stopping. And that's why I started accepting everything else. It's like, yeah, I can do this. What's the deadline? Okay, let me put it in the calendar. Maybe I need a sticky note also. I need an alarm on my phone for that one thing. That's fine. I do need more reminders. This is interesting. I'm using Calendly. I'm using notifications. I'm using a planner, an old-fashioned planner to write things down. I'm using them all because I have so many things scheduled, but it's a good thing. I would not lament it for a moment. I would not complain for a moment. Are you tired? Yes, but it's a good tired. I'm productive, and I'm not going to complain about this because this is what I asked for. And if I ask for something, when it comes, I have to be ready to shift into it. I can't ask for something and then turn it down when it happens because I can't figure it out. Then you ask for it, I'm giving it to you. What you going to do, dummy? Oh, I'm going to excel. I'm going to rise to the challenge. I'm going to do this. And then what's the next thing? Because I asked for this. Remember, it didn't happen immediately. There had to be some preparation for this to occur, right? You ask for it. When it comes to you, you got to be ready. It may come down like a monsoon. What are you going to do? I'm going to handle it. I'm going to handle it. All of it. All of it.
Yes. My goodness. Yes. Oh my goodness.
I'm grateful. I'm sitting in a space of gratitude. Let me just give you a snapshot. Just this week, you are the third podcast. So one was an online, a YouTube or Zoom or Yard stream. Then I had a podcast immediately after it. You are the third. I've had 3 interviews to work on my dissertation, my participants, and later today I have 2 more. Does that sound kind of busy to you? But yeah. But the reason the reason I asked for the interviews, or I accepted the podcast, if you will, this last week of July, is because I wanted to acknowledge B.B. Moore Campbell, National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. I wanted to do that. This is July. I wanted to be able to do that. So I wanted to be able to acknowledge that while we are taking her name off, I'm not going to let some other entity hijack a Black woman's intention. B.B. Moore Campbell started the National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. It began in 2008 because of her own daughter having mental illness. And I wanted to acknowledge that Black women start movements and then other people start taking credit for it, or they dismiss them. No, put her name back in place. Put her name back in place.
That's right.
First time I read anything that dealt very specifically with mental illness was her book called 72-Hour Hold. Now, mind you, the first book that I read by her was Your Blues Ain't Like Mine. Fell in love with her writing. And so I kept buying her novels. And when I read the 72-Hour Hold, it was amazing to me that she would write about a character, a mother, who's dealing with a daughter who's got mental illness. She's a pyromaniac, and she's got other manifestations of her mental illness. Long before being a mother was even a consideration for me. And so when I needed to have information about getting emergency care, I knew what the 72-hour hold was because I had read about it. So I have to acknowledge that. And that's the reason why these bookings that I chose were deliberately in July, so I could do it during this month and speak about this Black woman. Don't try to erase her name from it. The emphasis, there needs to be a renewed focus for us in the Black community, because number one, I do believe, like Dr. Jagori, I hope I'm saying her name right. She referred to it as post traumatic slave disorder or syndrome or something of the like. Yeah, there are remnants of it.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. And the only reason why we really can have a witness for it of what that sort of feels like, rather than this visceral reaction of what did happen, is because of what we saw under the last administration with babies being pulled from their parents.
Yeah.
It did something to me internally. Like, oh my God, that's what our grandma, you give birth, we're gonna
That's
sell
right.
this is I owe somebody some money. This is you didn't even get to suckle your baby. Oh, that's what, oh my God, that is what the post-traumatic slave disorder of the experiences. Imagine being pregnant, you were with child, and one of your children gets sold off because they didn't obey. What happened? Your child that is gestating is going to receive the trauma of that experience. And that wouldn't just be one horrific experience that they've had. They're compounded. How do you get through that? The seed is experiencing that, and then they grow up into that environment. And then, you know, how are we to get past this if we don't acknowledge that there's trauma, unfortunately, in the DNA, which may to a host of manifestations, which may do something as simple. I'm not undermining it, but I'm saying in comparison to other disorders, if you have situational depression, right, which is very real, you have situational depression versus someone who is clinically diagnosed with major mental challenges and disorders.
Right.
Seasonal depression, mild, and compared to those major diagnoses. We've got to be mindful of it, that it exists, and remove the stigma of getting help when there are problems. I told you that in that space, when my father passed, a cyclone could have come through, and I don't think I would have cared. I don't.
Wow.
Horrible. The feeling of helplessness. I told the doctor, I need an antidepressant. I don't have a problem admitting that. I need some help.
Yeah.
But this space does not feel good. All I want to do was sit on the couch, watch mindless television, and eat and drink wine. That's it.
Yeah.
There was no joy in that space, and it did not. There's no time frame on grief. However, the grief was exacerbated and compounded by the other situation that I had no control over, right? But then there may be an individual who was feeling the way I was feeling, who doesn't know to ask for help, right? And they are suffering, and they are dysfunctional for an extended period of time because they won't ask for help. I have no compunction asking for help.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need some help.
Yeah.
I need whatever it is in my brain to be kickstarted because it's shorted like that old engine. You trying to sit on it and turn it and nothing. You're pressing on the gas, nothing. Do I need what I need? Do I need some oil, my cylinders? I mean, I need this medication to just fire everything up, get me back on track. Thank you. I'm good. Thank you. Somebody else does not know that it is acceptable to ask for help, and they're suffering in silence, and I don't want that to happen. Someone else is embarrassed to say they need to take medication to maintain themselves. No embarrassment. If you have to take medication because you have high blood pressure, you got hypertension, are you embarrassed to say you're taking a medication? No, it is what it is. This is what I take.
Right.
Be no shame in saying this is what I'm also taking, because the brain is an organ in the body.
That's right. Yep. Yep.
Yes, I'm using this because this helps me. This helps me. I think in that space, I remember having a conversation with my mother, and she asked me how long was I going to be taking the medication, and I was taken aback. And if she hadn't have been my mother, I would have responded in a very disrespectful way. But I just paused and I said, as long as I need to. Like, what? Duh! What kind of ridiculous question is that? How long am I going to be? What?
Right.
Had she not been my mother, I would have gone off a little bit because
Yeah.
it was. I don't know what the intention behind the question was, because the question should have been, how are you feeling? Are you
Right.
feeling better taking this
Mhm.
medication? Because again, this is my mother. Stigma. Something
Yes.
was wrong because you're taking it. Well, if something's wrong, you should be glad that I'm taking it to fix it. Hello, I need my people. I
Right.
need my people to be okay with asking for help and to be okay seeking treatment and for however long it takes.
That's right.
However long it takes. You go to the doctor. Let's go back to this hypertension.
Mhm.
You're on this medication. Diastolic and systolic numbers are looking good. Are you going to go home and say, oh, they're looking good, I don't need the medication anymore? I hope not. I don't know if any of you saw one of Tina Turner's later interviews. She admits that she had high blood pressure. She didn't want to be on the medication for that long period of time. She stopped taking what the
Right.
doctor prescribes. And we see what happened. Her body didn't perform well without
Mhm.
the medication. We can't
Right.
do that. The same way you can't do that because it may cause
Mhm.
additional problems with affecting your kidney, so forth and so on. You
Mhm.
can't do that for the brain either. You're feeling
No.
well
That's right.
because you are taking the medication. And if
Right.
you're taking a holistic remedy, please
Mhm.
engage your physician in that as well so they can monitor it. So you're not taking medications that are counteractive with one another. We don't want a synergistic effect to occur because one medication is interacting negatively with another. Involve
Yeah.
the medical community, your primary care physician in that as well. When I was
Yes.
titrating from the antidepressant, I told my doctor that I was taking St. John wort in between.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm feeling better now. I'm feeling okay. So, and you can't go cold turkey because that will mess
Right.
with your brain also.
Right.
Okay, so one day the medication, the next day St. John wort. And this went on for then 1 day medication, 2 days St. John wort. Okay, and gradually I'm titrating myself off. And I remember one time going to the doctor and I told her how at what dosage I was with the medication. So
Mhm.
at this point, probably now it's a half a pill and then 3 days of the St. John wort. She said, I think it's time you can let go of the medication. I said, okay. So
Okay.
now I daily I take St. John wort
Yeah.
because life has not stopped happening to me. I
Yep.
still have these young adult children who've gotten older with, challenges that occur when you are no longer the authoritarian. You lose that as they get over the age 18.
Yeah.
You of the fact that they're over the age of 18, right?
Mhm.
I take St. John wort so I can still maintain. So
That's right.
that because I know that there are things that have come up that could have caused me to sink. Last year, an extreme situation occurred with my son, could have caused me to sink. But I got too much that I've got to work on right now. Too much invested in me. Nope, nope,
Yes.
nope. Let me grab the St. John wort. Maybe I instead of 2 a day, now I need 3 a day. Okay. It said take 3 a day on a bottle to begin with. I
Right.
just
To
have
begin
to
with.
be taking one. Listen, I have things that I have to work on, and I cannot falter in this moment. I don't have time to succumb to this uncomfortable feeling. I got work to do. And it was an emergency situation, but I don't
Right.
have time. I got to address the situation, but I still
Right.
have to get back to the things that I determined that I was going to work on. And so, yes, I take St. John wort every single day, and I'm able to continue on. I'm able to when something rattles my focus, the family situation, my children rattles my focus. Okay, let me get this mind matrix. Let me give myself something so I can stay focused on my study, because I've got assignments that I've got to turn in. This is early. I've got work to do.
Right.
Got that done. Check. Okay, you know, I don't have time to succumb to the situation that is extreme. It is a grave situation, but I've got to continue on. I've got to handle the situation, and I still have got to progress. So, yes, I need to be at my best to do that. Do I need to take a mind matrix? I sure do, and I take that as well. No shame in it. Listen, I don't understand how people suffer needlessly.
Yeah.
That is their choice, but that is not my choice.
Right.
I choose, as a caregiver of young adult children who are dealing with different challenges. My daughter better than my son. This might be a little more extreme, but I proclaim that he's going to get it together. He's going to understand how to manage, right? He's going to go forth in the world and do wonderful things. My daughter she's already starting something new. And so I claim for her that she will be able to manage and she doesn't have the hiccups in between. I claim those things for them. And of course I claim for good things for me. Come on now.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. You are such an amazing example. I know we only got a couple of minutes left here, but you're such an amazing example. I mean, in your ability to tell stories and share your life in a way that I don't welcome anxiety in the traditional sense. But I got to tell you, I am so anxious or excited. Let me use that word. I'm so excited about getting off this interview because I cannot wait to go back through this interview, because you have laid out so many countless life lessons, so much for us to pull from and to glean from and to institute in our lives. You spoke so profoundly to my season, my age and stage, as I call it in life. My goodness. And you are being the possible. So I just know that everything you have shared, the value you shared, is just pure gold. And I know the audience is going to appreciate this. And you have just given us so much life-giving information that if we would just apply it, we too can elevate into that space where we can get some things done. Because I know for me personally, and I'm speaking probably on behalf of a lot of listeners right now, we get stuck. And listening to what you shared, I there was one point in time where I just kind of tried to quickly get over here and just take a quick note, because I need that note to be I need to not manifest, but I need to meditate on that particular note today, because I might not get to the episode and be able to look through it today because of other things that I have going on. But I needed that one. I needed to take note of that, like, now. And I believe that there are so many things that you shared that are some right now words, as we say in the church, some now words. And thank you so much. Is there any last thing that you would want to share before we end here? Anything that you would just want people to, like, something that you want people to absolutely know or to take away, if they are feeling stuck, or if they are feeling just an inability to be, all that God's made possible for them?
Well, you know what? I wanted to share something that I saw it first, I think, on LinkedIn. And I can't, I have to paraphrase it because I don't
Sure.
have it queued up. But
Okay.
a young woman said something along the lines of, whatever you are having trepidation about doing, go ahead and do it, because there's somebody doing it right now, not doing it well, getting paid handsomely. They have no desire to change or improve. So you go ahead and you do what you need to do.
Wow.
I saw something similar some years before, and that resonated with me also. It's like, are you kidding me? The only difference between
Hmm.
the person that you see out front doing it and the person who you don't see doing it is confidence. Because yes, there are people behind the scenes who can do it better. Yes, there are.
Mhm.
The one who's out front is the one who had the confidence enough to go through the motion to get it taken care of. Does it mean that they're the best? No, you could be the best. They have courage, you don't, so you don't get to open your mouth. Let me make that more personal. Let me make that more personal. I can remember at one time, sometimes when I would listen to people sing, I'd be like, how did that person get a record contract? They can't even sing. And I'd watch these reality shows, American Idol and so forth and so on. I was like, this person doesn't have a great voice. And then I thought to myself, but they have the courage to do it, and you never did. So go ahead, give them their props of having the courage to get on stage. I can't talk about the fact that I sound better than them because they're the one that went through the motion. How about that? So the person that's out front isn't necessarily the best. If you are sitting back, you should be motivated by the fact that they are confident in their mediocrity, and you need to be confident in your capabilities and your exceptionalism. You are exceptional, but in the background, nobody knows it. You're waiting for somebody else to shine a light on you. You better get your own spotlight. You better put that light on yourself. Come on now. Come on now.
Yes.
Yeah, I want you right here, but you better shine that light on you.
That's right.
You, but nobody else is going to notice it. And so that's where that understanding of I'm going to call it a humble brag for those in my generation who to be humble, right? To be, don't draw attention to yourself positively or negatively. Okay, got it. But if you don't draw attention to yourself and what you are doing, no one will know, right? So if you want to see yourself in the same space as the other people who have the courage to do it, then you got to take the steps to do it and stop talking. We'll no more talk. Wasted energy, wasted words. I don't want to connect and engage with people who pontificate. I want to engage with people who do stuff.
Yes.
Let me see your action. I don't want to hear you talk. Let me see what's going on. Let me see what I can emulate. That looks good to me. You know what? Okay. I believe I can do that also. And then stop talking and let everybody just watch. No limits. No limits.
No limits.
No limits. And then most importantly, when you pray for something, you better be ready to do what it is that you ask for. Because if you are given something and you don't do with that gift what you were supposed to do, you won't get it again.
No.
I just gifted you with this opportunity that you said you wanted. Why didn't you take it? Because I didn't know how to, I couldn't figure out how to, if I gave it to you, that means you're capable of handling it. If I gave it to you, I'm going to direct you. I'm going to give people to you to show you how to manage it. But you didn't do anything with it because you couldn't figure it out. That's a testament of your lack, not my lack. I gave it to you. Somebody should be able to look at you. If for those of your listening audience who may be, spiritual, whatever believers, right? People should be able to look at you and know. I'm gonna use the Mary line that you rock with the greatest.
Yes.
Be able to look at you and know well, how did you do that? Well, here's a little bit of a testimony. How much time you have?
Right.
You want the 5-minute version, or how much time? That's why I asked you, how much time do we have?
You're right.
How much time do we have for me to tell you? Okay.
Yes.
The longer I go back, the more this looks incredible.
Yep.
If you don't go back, this looks average. I don't know what the percentage there are of individuals in pursuit of doctorate degrees. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But but if you hear the backstory, then me getting to this space in this moment is magnanimous. So listen, it should be a testament.
Yes. My goodness.
And it is.
Yes.
It first of all, okay, so it's a humble brag, but I'm thankful. So let me make sure I include that. I am very thankful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I prayed for it. When it came, I was ready.
Yes.
And I moved on it.
Yes. Yeah. Man, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I could eat this up all day. I could do this all day. I mean, I could sit under you all day. I don't know if you're doing, or if you plan on at some point, not only, speaking, but just lecturing, just giving speeches, and just allowing people to sit underneath, because there's such a depth and such a well of knowledge. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Unfortunately, we have to bring it to an end. I may choose to give me some time to kind of think through this. I may need to chop this one up and just make it maybe a part 1, part 2. But I want to, like your girl off of that old TEDx, I want to promote this one. Oh my goodness. Yeah, because the world needs to hear what you said, and especially those that are out there that I know even personally that are feeling that stuckness and just that lack of confidence that you spoke about. So I just want to thank you so much for your time again. Thank you so much for sharing all that you have shared. Thank you so much for just allowing us into your world, giving us such an encouragement, and embodying the encouragement. Is one thing to, like you talked about earlier, speak a word of encouragement, but you are exemplifying, you are the embodiment of the encouragement, which is so powerful. So I just wish you the very best. I've already followed you on LinkedIn. I'll follow you on Facebook if I didn't push the right button, but I'm in your corner. I'm going to be watching you. I want to stay plugged in. You're good people, as we say, good people to know and to be around and to be connected to. So please reach out to me if, in the future you ever need anything that I can do and offer in ways of support and just ways of just championing what you're doing, getting out the word in the social media world of what you're doing. And then we'll talk more after this episode, just in terms of just how we'll push and promote this episode. But yeah, thank you so much for giving us your time and just giving us such a great perspective on what's possible for any of us with that level of confidence and with that action, taking those actions. So thank you so much for being with us in this time.
Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm honored. Thank you.
Thank you.